There we go. It's content, baby.
Content.
Am I a cancerous piece of shit? Maybe. No, but like that moment, like spring into summer last year, I was kind of like, I could switch this into EDM, like more contemporary shit, and I'd just rap on it. And Virgil Abloh was posthumously getting in my head because he has that 3% rule where he's like, oh, well, you know, something only needs to be 3% different for, you know, the market to latch onto it because it's something they already like, but it's just something.
It's just slightly different.
Jack Harlow, Drake effect, right? So I'm like, maybe, and I still do think this a little bit, maybe if I just took like contemporary EDM stuff, like what John Summit is doing, and just like change the key and the melodies a little bit and rapped over that. We're already doing the same 8-bar format. That might go somewhere. But production-wise, that would be shifting away from the 808s, basically. It would be shifting more into synthesizers for the melodies as opposed to sampled melodies like we were doing.
Yeah.
But Travis said, no, I think you should stick with it because it's yours. I was like, okay. And then I made Molly later that summer.
Yeah.
Came back from Miami, made Molly. And Molly is okay. I know you're like super silver lining and like, you know, even if I ask you to be critical of something, you'll have like a very, very full response. That's why I trust you with these things. But don't you think that whether or not Trayson is on this song, whether it's the original version or it has Trayson on it, don't you think I could submit that to higher levels, like industry levels, and it's good enough mix-wise and genre-wise for people to be like, yeah, this needs some major push?
I think it's good. I think it just depends on who you get it to, you know, because it has to be somebody that's, you're not going to go to like somebody that's like mega mainstream unless like maybe you have like an in-between person for that. But if you find somebody that's like, they latch on to like things that are maybe, it's not experimental, but it's more electronic, you know? More like, if you go into
that's
the
the
EDM
crowd
world,
I need to
if you go into the
right
pop
now.
world, you just got to find the right like playlisters too, you know? You got to find the right blogs, you got to find the right places to submit it to. Because then you can at least get feedback too from people that actually do that shit.
Brand wise, I feel like I'm really close.
Brand wise, yeah, like you actually
brand wise, I'm really
had
fucking
your brand
close.
pretty thought out. You're like working on making that like, you know, as good as you can get it. But it just depends on how you want to push the music, because that's the tricky thing. Because once you start getting traction like at a certain level, it's a lot easier to kind of build off of that. But it's just, you need to have the right people to begin with to kind of like get it into the circles that you're trying to get it into. Or you need to get into clubs and just get people to play your shit. It's just difficult because, you know, clubs are very like, DJs are like, nope, I get paid to do this, I'm gonna do this. So you kind of just have to find the right place for it.
Kind of here and there. So I agree with you, because when I went to Miami, it was Miami the second time.
Yeah.
And the DJs I've talked to there, it's like they get frustrated even because the people that run the bars and stuff get really particular as to what type of house they want. Yeah. Oh, I want deep tech house as opposed to just tech house. No, don't play normal tech house. It's too gritty. You know,
Yep.
Which is a beautiful thing for genre, but I'm gonna be a pain in the ass right now because I can't, because I'm alive. You know, so, but they're like generic clubs and stuff like that. The people that are more of the voices to the general audience, because those niche things are more of like events hosted by the venue where it's like, oh, this is a pop up. Maybe they do it a few times a week, whatever. But it's not where the people are going. You know, to go. That's where people might pop up, but it's not where people are going. You know, you don't sit at home, like those places being particular about tech house and shit. Like, they don't sit at home and they're like, man, where are we gonna go on Friday? Oh, let's go to fucking 888 bar or some shit like that. They just end up at 888 bar, right?
Yeah.
And the planning and all that, it reflects that. They're just running a business and they're like, yeah, this is Thursday. And they're in Miami. It's an international city. So somebody from fucking, China or like Uzbekistan or some shit like that might just pull up and they're just at 888 bar and they're playing tech house because that is the vision for the bar and that's what they do, right? But if we're talking about like pushing culture, and I feel like I'm crossing the line when I say culture. I'm really not, because American culture, pop culture, that's what I mean when I say that. And because I'm kind of in a hip hop realm, when I say that to people like Trayson or generally people of color that are in the cities that are around, bigger conglomerations of people of color, and I say culture to them, that sounds fucking crazy, especially if they know that I'm here right now. Is they're like, what do you know about culture? Well, I'm not talking about that culture specifically. I'm talking about culture, right? Because Jack Harlow is technically culture. He might not be culture, but he's culture. He's the culture of what's going on right now. He's a moment. Like when all these pop stars and everything, they basically capitalized. They basically designed a business out of moments. Everybody wants to own a moment. That's really what it's all about. So like when they have these A&Rs and shit that don't know fucking anything, they're just like, let's make a big billboard. I did that. But mine is fucking, I'm trend setting because nobody's done that here. That I've seen. But when they put together those plans and shit, I'm obsessed with this, by the way. Like these conversations, it's technically one of these conversations, but then they have like 4 people where their career is just to, let's push Blake Shepherd, and I have my social media person and I have my bleep blop bloop person and I got my A&R.
Yes, there we go. Your bleep's right.
Exactly. Thanks, George. And then I got, my manager over here and then some other representative from the label. And we're talking about something and they'll be like, oh, well, here's what the rollout looks like. We're going to, put you on billboards in San Francisco, New York, LA, Tokyo, da-da-da-da. And then here's the pitch on the billboard. The pitch is, EDM, but do you really, or some shit like that, right? And we got the billboard. The billboards are unlocked. What else are we gonna do? Like that's all a moment that's attempting to be manufactured. And I think that a lot of people have forgotten that because it's been packaged now as, oh, you're on a billboard, right? Because trying to just organically put together a moment in culture has a lot of risk to it, right?
Yeah.
Because like if I went to the streets of Chicago, right around where the Bean is downtown, or New York, let's just do Times Square, or we could do whatever. Is there a central point of Tokyo? There really isn't, right?
I would say Shibuya.
Shibuya,
that's like basically their Times Square.
Okay, so if we're in Shibuya, because Tokyo's bigger than New York now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if we're in the middle of Shibuya and we plan a whole, live rollout, essentially, I better not be starting to see things. And we plan, a whole live rollout of, maybe we'll have a live action thing happen where you do this and this, and we'll have police, get involved and shit like that. Then, that'll fucking happen. But, there's risks to that. If we just do that in Shibuya, you don't know if people are going to react to it. You don't know if people are going to post it, there's a risk. But, when you package things, you're like, oh, we're going to plan this $60 million social media run, and then we got these billboards and shit like that. We've lost track of the moments because people have done billboards before. People have done commercials before. People have done social media runs before. They're kind of mandatory at this point to put that much money into ad revenue, right? But what are we really doing? You know what I'm saying? The dude in I I don't know what province it is specifically. There's a dude in, I believe it's South Asia, that's had his hand raised like this for like 100 years.
Oh yeah.
You seen the the clickbait posts about that?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that shit's true or not. I'm guessing some of it is true, right? To some extent. Maybe he's still there, maybe he's not, maybe he died, and we're just recycling fucking news to get clicks.
Right.
But that at the time is not getting any news. A week in, a month in, maybe a year in. You know, it's like, hey, this dude's been standing here a really fucking long time. He's still got his hand up, okay? He must be doing that for a reason, right? But then over time, then people are like, oh, he's standing there for this cause.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't even fucking know, and that's a demonstration of, like, how the action of doing something is always going to precede the message. And maybe the message catches up later on after the people are gone, right? But now we're getting super existential past promoting music or being a cultural moment within society now, right? If that's what the goal is, which is, I think, what the goal is a lot of A&Rs. Yeah, I'm just basically saying, they package the shit.
Yeah.
We get the billboards, and I could say this in a much more concise term so you can actually sleep and go to work tomorrow. But I think that either when I get the opportunity to, or just in general what the industry should try to figure out how to do, is to package their music with something real, right? Because we're all here now. Like, everybody knows on social media what's going on now. That's why streamers are popular, because they're doing crazy shit now. Rappers in the late 2010s, I don't care about that. We're doing shit now. I'm going to go on another tangent. But if you could package music that is made now with a moment that is happening now, with something that actually fucking matters, and that's why I want to make DCF3 more reflective of what's going on now, and not just, hey, I want to make this cool club music. I got to do a better job of attaching, like, what is happening now, even if it's not like, I'm not trying to say I'm gonna make like, free Palestine, boom, 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 boom. I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but like, even if it's us just here having this conversation, this is a track, right? This might be like a Motel October track, or like an interlude or something like that. I just thought of that. But you package the music, you know what I'm saying, because you're already 3 sentences ahead of me all the time. You package the music with something that's going on now, and you take the risk of maybe it's not the most profitable thing right away. And if you want to package your billboards and everything with it, maybe there's a tasteful way for you to do that. But at the same time, I'm just a motherfucker tripping on the couch, okay?